So, should we start? Yes. So, what did we discuss in the last lecture? Yes, some terms we discussed. What is polity, what is politics, what is political. To understand political, we said whenever we talk about political, state will come into picture. So first we try to understand what is state. Rather we said the word political comes from polis, and the polis itself meant city states. So we try to understand the evolution of this word called state, right? So we discussed it in detail. Now we know how state has evolved, right? In ancient time, medieval times, modern times, now we have one concept called as nation state that is existing, right? The formation can still change. Look at European Union. In Europe there are so many nation states, but still they formed something called as European Union, right? So there they are changing the structure. It looks like they are moving towards the similar kind of structure we had in empires, right? Larger, they have their own passport also, currency also. So somewhat looks like the state in Europe is also changing. It looks like that. Okay, so it will keep on changing. It's not always the same thing. Yes, we discussed this part. We understood political. Then we try to understand the word science. Why we are calling political science as a science? Is it truly science, just like physics, chemistry, biology? No, it's not exactly like them. But we use the word science because of the method we are using in political science, which is systematic one, which is similar to the other natural sciences, in which we are looking for evidences, we are looking for observations, we are trying to get data. Yes, anything in science can be verified. If they claim that there is gravity, you can verify if it is there or not. Similarly, in political science, we are going for some verifiable data, verifiable patterns. Okay, how this politics actually works. To understand how it works, you have to observe keenly how it is actually happening. Since a long time, how it has been happening. You will read history for that. You will read what is happening right now around the world. What are the processes that are going on? Then you understand, okay, politics works like this, right? That's why, because of this systematic method, where we are using rationality, where we are using observation, where we are using some evidences, because of which we are calling it as a kind of science. Clear? This is what we have discussed. Anything else we discussed apart from this? Huh? Nation state we discussed in detail. How is nation state and all? What is the idea of nation, nationalism, all that we discussed already. Yes? Any doubt in the first lecture that we had yesterday? Anyone? No? These notes which are given to you online, I am not sure if online students got it, but if not, we will ask them to upload. You are supposed to read this only. No need to go for multiple sources, multiple stuffs as such. Whatever we are discussing in the class is the same stuff that will be there in these notes. Okay, just read this much part, revise it, try to make short notes if possible. Not in the initial time. Initially you will face little challenge in making such notes, but at least try. Slowly you will learn that concept, how to understand. Once you understood in class, once you gone through this on your own, at least once or twice when you read this and you attended the lecture also, now slowly you get the clarity on topics. Okay, no need to mug up. You don't need to, like, there will be so many names into it, so many people, so many quotes. Don't try to mug up. Just read it. Just read with calm mind and just understand what they are trying to say and why they are saying that. Okay, so if you just remember that storyline, then the concepts will be very much clear. Okay, should we start then? Okay. Few terms which might confuse you, that also we will discuss today. We were on this part. We said we will discuss something called as political thought. Yes, in that specifically Western political thought. When we said political thought, that means it's the thought of someone. Let's say a scholar, let's say Gandhiji. Gandhiji's political thought. What Gandhiji thinks about politics. When I say about politics, it might include so many things. What Gandhiji thinks about parliament. Should there be parliament or should there not be parliament? Does he like parliament or does he not like parliament? What Gandhiji thinks about democracy. Should there be democracy? Should there not be democracy? What kind of structure we should have? That all stuff is Gandhi's political thought. If you ask me, does Gandhi like parliamentary democracy? Answer is no. Gandhi doesn't like parliamentary democracy much. Then what kind of democracy Gandhiji likes? Gandhiji likes so much decentralized kind of democracy, in which people have maximum power. Local governments have maximum power. He looks for that. Parliamentary form, according to him, goes into majoritarian. So he doesn't like that concept also. So his understanding of politics is his political thought. So we can have my political thought, your political thought, anyone's political thought. But our political thought has no value, as much we have for Gandhi's political thought, because his understanding of politics is much better than ours. Similar to Gandhi, there are other people also. There are different thinkers, right? We categorize these thoughts into different areas. We say Western political thought, Indian political thought, Chinese political thought, and specifically we will be studying Western political thought first. Why? Because we said that the discipline of political science, although it's a very old subject, it's not a subject which came just recently, it's there since ancient time. This subject is being studied. So it's one of the oldest subject you can call political science. Now this subject, even if it is so ancient, but presently when we study this subject, we see there is some domination of West in this political science. Okay, it's not necessary that domination is always bad. It can be good also. Maybe they studied so much which others did not study. It's a good thing now. But domination in an aspect wherein the terms that we use, the concepts that we use, everything is Western in origin. And because all these books are written from their perspective, sometimes it can be little biased also. Maybe they didn't study Indian society or Indian politics the way we can study right now. Whatever they said might be applicable always to the West, might not be necessarily applicable to Africa. Some things might be applicable also, right? So we call this discipline, sometimes we criticize it by saying it's Eurocentric, Europe-centric. Yes, it is Western in origin and it is too much centric to West. Whatever they did, whatever they said in terms of politics, that's so much centered around the West or centered around Europe. Is this clear? Now specifically this Western political thought, its origin lies in the ancient Greece, the Greece area. Right now it is nation state Greece we see. In ancient time there was no Greece. Yes, there were different city states rather. Yes, like we said, Athens, Sparta and so many other. We see this Western civilization and Western political thought emerging from this area. This is the area where initially many scholars came into picture, many thinkers who studied politics and they came up with their ideas. People like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, these people came into picture, right? And that's where when we have to study Western political thought, because we have to study political science, first we have to study political thought of West so that we understand each concept, because the concepts are dominated by West. So we are studying that. To study that, we have to first study ancient Greece, because this is where it has origin. The initial stuff happened in ancient Greece. That's why we will go to ancient Greece and we will study the thinkers from that area. Then we will understand Western political thought in a better manner, right? Now when you look at the world, when we call this political thought or political science being very Eurocentric, this is also we started calling it in recent times. Earlier nobody was even calling it Eurocentric as such, because those who were writing books, they were themselves from Europe. So who will criticize them? There was nobody to criticize also. So nowadays what we do is, especially after Second World War, after Second World War, we look at the world and we say the world is little different from what it was before World War. Before this Second World War, we see the world was divided between colonizing powers and colonized powers. Countries like Britain, Portugal or France, all these countries, European countries, they went to other countries and they colonized those countries, right? So we were not free. If we are not free, how will we write our own books, our own perspective? We will not write. We are also completely controlled by the West. So actually the Western ideas were percolating throughout the world. We were not having any independent ideas of our own as such, right? After World War II, what we do is we divide the world into three parts. Let's say this is the world, more or less. Now what we say is, sir, now the world can be divided into actually three categories. One category would be this one. These are those highly developed countries. These are the countries where industrial revolution happened. These are the countries who have colonized rest of the part of the world. Yes, this is one country or the side which you call as capitalist countries. Yes, all these countries are running with the economic model that we call as capitalism. We will discuss about capitalism in detail, specifically when we will talk about Karl Marx and all. Right now just understand the basic difference. The rest of the part, that is the Eastern Europe, Russia and some part of this Eastern Europe, this was the second part, whom you call as the communist world, socialist or communist world. So their economy is running on socialist model, not the capitalist model. So first world, second world, new terminologies came into picture. This one was being called as the first world and this one was being called as the second world. Then some countries like this southern countries, let's say India, China, South American countries, African countries, these countries came up with their own thoughts. Now these are those countries which recently got independence, right? Exactly after World War II, if you observe, most of these countries, you see that these started getting independence because these were those countries who were colonized by these countries, right? We also got independence after 1945 only. World War II ended in 1945. We also got independence after that. Similar is the case of this part also. Similar is the case of this part also. Okay. So now we started calling this part as third world. Okay. First world capitalist, second world communist, and third world we were mixed. So you see our economic model also in 1947, 1950. We were neither capitalist nor socialist. We were mixed. Am I right or wrong? We were following mixed models. And we started using this term called third world. Clear? So now, when this third world started writing its own books in the discipline of political science, now these people, they started questioning the subject. They started saying this subject is so much dominated by West, because we understood what West has been doing. West did not just dominate on you in terms of money or in terms of military, they were dominating in your academics also, right? So those countries which were earlier colonized, earlier they were colonized, countries like India, we were colonized. After colonization completed and decolonization happened, that means we got independence. Yes, now we call the same country as post-colonial state. Earlier we were colonized state. Once we got the independence, now we are a state which is post-colonial state. Can we call India as post-colonial? Yes. Any African country also? But can you call Britain as post-colonial state? No. Britain was colonizing others. Britain was not colonized. So they are not in this category. We are part of this. More or less the global south is part of post-colonial state, I can say. Clear? Now if any scholar is coming from post-colonial state, they will talk about this idea that the discipline is Eurocentric in nature. So there are some scholars like this person, Amitabh Acharya, Muhammad Ayub. These are those scholars who criticize this Western domination or Europe's domination in the discipline, and now they are giving their perspective. As I said, it was very normal to write Middle East in the books. So these scholars, while writing the books, they did not use the word Middle East. Now they use the word West Asia. Are you getting it? This is how you challenge the narrative or discourse that is going on. Make sense? So this is our third world who came up with this kind of an idea. Clear? The word post-colonial state clear? Okay. Now let's understand these terms and then we will directly start with the Western political thought, because you might get confused with these words. Just basic we will remember. When I'll discuss political theory, I'll repeat this part so that no confusion will be there. Okay. First, political thought, political theory, political science and political philosophy. These two words can be little confusing. So when I say political thought, let's think in a simple manner. It's a thought of someone. I can have my thoughts about this institute, my thoughts about humans, my thoughts about nature, my thoughts about politics. Clear? So my thoughts about politics, those are political thoughts. And political thoughts will be of someone. Clear? So can I say political thought is about a specific thinker's ideas? With respect to politics, can I say that? Huh? Not necessarily narrative. Narrative sometimes can be wrong. It is his understanding. See, if Gandhi feels or thinks that parliament and parliamentary democracy is very bad, he must be having some reason. Nah, he's not saying it just for the sake of saying. After so much of experience, he is a politician who has worked as a politician for so many years, and he ended up with the understanding that parliamentary democracy is not that great. Right? That is his understanding, it is his thought. And why he thinks so, he must be having some reasons. Right? So we will not call it narrative. Rather, it is something see, the difference between narrative and this narrative you try to build because you have some interest. I will build narrative. Let's say someone politician is there. He tries to build a narrative so that you people start following him, he gets votes. Right? But in academics is away from politics. Politics is, people are doing politics, they want power. But for a teacher, he is completely into knowledge. He doesn't have that interest that I need power. So I will not try to create narrative. I'll tell you whatever it is, whatever I understood. It's not necessary I understood, whatever I understood is 100% true. Not necessary. What Plato said, Aristotle didn't agree. What Socrates said, Plato didn't agree. So maybe you will not agree with what I am saying, but this is my life's understanding. With whatever experience I had, I understood. That's why it's my thought, not narrative. Okay? So I can say political thought is thought of a thinker towards politics. Now when I say towards politics, in politics there are so many things. We can talk about freedom, we can talk about equality, we can talk about liberty, justice, so many things are there. What kind of institutions we should have? Should we have independent judiciary or dependent judiciary? Should we have bureaucracy or not? Who should be independent? There can be many thoughts about politics. Am I right or wrong? Yes? So it could be any thought of any person. That is his political thought. Okay? I hope this part is clear. Yes? Now let's say I take example of Plato. Okay? I try to study the political thought of Plato. In that political thought, what I find, he told something about justice. He told something about, let's say, what kind of ideal king we should have. He told something about communism and so many things. Okay? So many things he talked about. I am saying this is Plato's political thought. Clear? Now when I use the word political theory, now I am trying to make a theory. Now theory is not one-sided or based on just one concept. It might happen that Plato's thought process is one-sided. Yes, it's not necessary, it's his own thought process. No, he can have the thought process that, we should not have elected king. Plato's thought process, who can do anything? We can't do anything about it. Maybe someone likes dictatorship, right? It could be his own political thought. But when I try to understand theory, I get into one concept and now I systematically study that concept in a comprehensive manner. For example, I take this one concept called justice. Okay? Now I want to study justice as a political theory of justice. When I try to study the theory of justice, I will study the idea of justice completely. Now to study the idea of justice completely, I have to look for every single person who talked about justice. Right or wrong? Plato gave one-sided perspective of justice. Some other guy gave some other side of justice. Third guy gave some third side of justice. So I will bring all those perspectives at one place and then I'll understand justice. Is it just about Plato's thought? No. I studied Plato also, Rawls also, Gandhi also. So many people I studied. My idea was, I want to know what is justice. right? So when you study political theory, you take one concept and you comprehensively, systematically, step by step, you study it. But when you study political thought, you take one person and you try to understand his understanding of politics, which might include many theories. One thinker can have multiple theories. One theory can have multiple people. Is it clear? Political thought and political theory. Any doubt? No? Write down. Huh? We can't say universal, but it gives us a complete, near to complete understanding, because maybe after some time you will come up with your new thought which contradicts all the understanding we had till now. So it's still a theory, it's not fact. Okay? Write down. Political thought versus political theory. Political thought versus political theory. Right? Political thought is the ideas and is about the ideas. Political thought is about the ideas and opinions, ideas or opinions of a particular thinker, of a particular thinker or a society, about politics, or political issues. For example, Gandhi's political thought includes ideas of non-violence, Swaraj, Ram Rajya, etc. Gandhi's part of syllabus, we will be discussing in detail about Gandhi's thoughts. Okay, even if you don't know these terms, what is Swaraj, what is Ram Rajya, don't worry, we will discuss in detail. Okay, next, right? Political theory is the systematic study and explanation of political concepts, institutions and values. For example, theory of equality, theory of justice, theory of democracy. Theory of justice. Is this clear? Yes, any doubt till now? No? Now you should know two terms. One is called as normative, other one is called as empirical. We already discussed about empirical last time, right? But let's discuss it again. Normative and empirical. When we study any theory, let's say we are studying about democracy, okay, it can have empirical dimension, it can have normative dimension. What do I mean by these words? The moment I look for empirical stuff, empirical means we said by observation. Yes? So democracy is good or bad. What is democracy if I have to study that? One method is I go for empirical evidences. I go for observation. I'll just observe wherever there is democracy. In ancient time also there was some kind of democracy. Right now also there is some kind of democracy. In ancient time in Greece there was some kind of democracy. Yes, in India also we have some concept of democracy in ancient time. Yes or no? So we will study that democracy. We will study present day democracy. Then there are some countries like Switzerland, they have direct democracy. Right or wrong? In India we have indirect democracy. So I'll study all of that. I'll take the evidence. Okay, here it works like this, here it works like this, here things go right, here things go wrong. That's what is part. What is there? I study that by taking empirical part. So when I study any theory, it might include one side, that is how it looks right now. What is included into it? That I find through empirical method. Okay. Now let's say right now the democracies we see, they look very bad. Let's assume the democracy that I see, let's say in India or some other countries, it looks like poor are still poor. Yes, rights are written in the constitution, but in reality the rights are not given. You say that you have some particular right to equality. Yes, there is right to equality in India, but if you have lot of money, you can pay and you can get out of jail also. That means what? It looks like democracy is only there in books. In reality, there is no democracy. Or let's say people want to remove a government. We say that we have that right to remove the government. Yes, but let's say the government has become dictatorship. Let's say the government has come up with emergency. Or if you say your democracy, is it really democracy? Democracy means rule of the people. Do you really think whatever laws are being made, they are in the interest of people, or they are in the interest of just few people? Right? So now I try to know what is exact reality. That's what I am checking with empirical part. Is it making sense? Yes, anyone, any doubt with the word empirical till now? No, sir, sure. Now the next word is normative. Normative word comes from the word norm. We have many norms in our society. One of the norm is you should respect your parents, and to respect what norm is set, the norm is you have to touch the feet of your elders or your parents. Yes, the value behind is respect. Respecting is a good value. But how we are taught or how we are supposed to follow that value? By touching the feet of elders. That's there only in India. If you go to any other country, do they have this practice? Not necessarily. Okay, some of them might have, but most of the countries, America, they don't have this practice. That's a norm in our society. So what is norm? Norm means people say you should do this thing. Your parents tell you, you should touch the feet of your parents. So norm is something which will always tell you what should be done. What is happening, reality they are not talking about. What should happen? You say you are a good, you are a bad person. I'll say you should be a good person. What you are right now, that I'll get from empirical. And what you should become, that I'll get from normative. Yes? Now what politics is right now, I can understand from its empirical side. But how the politics should be? If I ask Gandhiji, sir, how politics should be? He will say Ram Rajya, ideal state. The king should be very ideal. But if I ask how it is right now, Gandhiji will say the king is corrupt, king is very bad. How it should be? Ideal, like Maryada Purushottam Ram, controlling his senses, controlling all his urges, doing the right justice. that kind of ideal king should be there. Make sense? So empirical will tell what is and normative will tell what should be. And a person's political thought, let's say Gandhiji when talks about things, maybe he's just talking normative things. When let's say Machiavelli talking about things, he's just talking about this side and not this side. Or there can be a thinker who talks about both sides, right or wrong. Anyone's political thought could be anything, we can't control that. But when we study political theory and we take one concept, let's say justice, we will study how justice happens right now or how justice is understood by everyone, and we will also study how ideally justice should be, normative part. Both things we can study when we study any particular political theory. Is it making sense? Yes? So write down one line. Political theory includes both. Number one, normative questions, in bracket, which tells what the state ought to do. Bracket close. Number two, empirical questions. In bracket, how political institutions actually function. Clear? Any doubt till now with these two words, political thought and political theory? No? Sure? Now look at these two. Political science and political philosophy. What we'll be doing in the Western political thought, we will be first studying about one person called Plato and another person called Aristotle. Now in this person Plato is called as father of political philosophy, whereas this person Aristotle is called as father of political science. And the subject that we are going to study is political science, not political philosophy. Although there is so much similarity or overlap that it looks more or less same. Okay, but what's the core difference we want to know? So try to understand, when you say something is science and something is philosophy, where is the difference lying? When you talk about philosophy, philosophy is a subject where we try to study ideas. We study different ideas in the philosophy, and ideas can always have that normative element into it. When you say normative, I just said what is normative? What you should do. When I say what you should do, there are some values involved into it. Let's say you become an IPS officer. Yes? So should you take the weapon and kill anyone, or you should have non-violence as a principle with you? Yes? Not just IPS officer, take any officer. Yes? You should be violent or non-violent? Non-violent? Huh? Obviously according to the situation, but mostly you should be non-violent. Now see, non-violent or violence, this word is about a value. We have different values. Happiness is a value, peace is a value, violence is a value, right? Whenever we talk about something normative, what you should do, here automatically some values will be there into it. The moment you remove values, now, sir, violence happens, sir. Sir, in politics, violence is normal because it happens every single day. Sir, corruption happens in the society. What I am doing? I am just telling what is the reality. Am I telling you, you should do this? You should not do corruption? When I say you should do or should not do corruption, I brought values. Clear? So, I am saying in philosophy, ideas will be there, values will be there, or it will be more or less normative in nature. Look at, read any philosophy, any philosopher you read, whatever their philosophy is, it tells you should do like this. The world should be like this. That's what they tell, right? Yes or no? But when you study science, does science tell you, you should do this, you should not do this? Nuclear weapons are made by science. Does science tell you nuclear weapons should be made, should not be made, it is good, it is bad? Does anyone say that? Did Oppenheimer say anything like that? Later on he said something, that's not important. But the point is science doesn't talk about it. Science simply says, sir, it happens or it doesn't happen, that's it. Clear? So that's the difference between political philosophy and political science. This one is normative in nature. This one is more descriptive in nature. It just describes, sir, this is how it works. This is how politics works, sir. In politics, power matters, sir. Ethics doesn't matter, sir. They will clearly tell this thing. And some element of normative will also be there in the science. But philosophy is purely normative, just telling what should be there. Idealism. It is more idealistic in nature, but this one is idealism plus what is the reality. This is the core difference. That's it. Clear? We'll repeat again if you want. When we'll discuss political theory, I'll repeat this part so that you should not get confused. Okay, I'm supposed to start with Western political thought directly. Clear? So just write down in one line so that there won't be any confusion. Political philosophy versus political science. Political philosophy versus political science. Political philosophy is mainly normative. Political philosophy is mainly normative. And it tells us about the ideal desirable political order. The ideal desirable, it tells us about the ideal desirable political order. Next line. On the other hand, political science is largely empirical and descriptive. Is largely empirical and descriptive. Telling us how politics actually works. Telling us how actually politics works. However, it also contains some normative elements. It also contains some normative elements. Anyone still confused with any word we are using? I'm sure these are very new words for you. Normative, empirical, all those things, but slowly you will get used to these words. First time we are studying this subject, so it's very obvious to find it little difficult. Still, any confusion with any word? Sure. Should we start with Western political thought now?
Descriptive means it is
It is just describing. The moment you said descriptive, it's just describing. Sir, it works like this. Good or bad? I'm not talking about it. Clear? Now, let's start with Western political thought. We're going to the Western part and trying to understand what do these people think about politics. And I said in the West, we have to first look at Greece, the ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, when we are going to the ancient Greece, we're not looking at entire Greece, because at that point of time, there is nothing called Greece, because right that point of time, there is no nation state called as Greece. At that point of time, there are city states. So small city states are there. So when we go to Greece, we see two important city states over there, Athens and Sparta. Okay. Now when I look at Athens as well as Sparta, these two, these two are the city states in this area, and these two city states keep on fighting with each other. Continuously they are at war with each other. There is a very famous war that happened in this region that was called as Peloponnesian War. Very famous war that happened between these two. In this war, Sparta won and Athens lost. Okay. Now from the same Athens, we have one very famous scholar or thinker. His name is Plato. And Plato observes this war. Actually, Plato comes from a very rich family, very good family. And he was planning to become a politician, planning to get into politics. But when he saw all these things happening, how the war happened and how we lost, he was not feeling very happy about it. And he tried to know why this war happened and why we lost. Okay, war happened, but why we lost? Why not they lost? What was the problem with? Because both are city states, both are almost of similar size. How come we lost it? And more or less same people also. It's the same country now. Same people. So he tried to know that. And from there, he shifted from going to politics to the academics. He started thinking. By thinking, he tried to conclude what's the real problem. One of the real problem he came to know, sir, the real problem is corruption. Now you may say, sir, corruption and war, what is the relationship? You people tell me. What's the relationship between corruption and war? He's saying because of corruption, this war we have lost.
The reason why you fight is different when corruption is involved. The motive changes when corruption is involved.
Motive changes when corruption is involved. Okay. Think about it. Let's say there is one country, there is another country. In this country, the politicians or the rulers or the kings, they are corrupt. And in another country, they are not corrupt. Now they are at war, and Plato is saying, those who are corrupt, they will lose. Those who are not corrupt, they will win. Why?
They have order and discipline.
Order and discipline.
The one who are uncorrupt mainly focus on winning the war at any cost.
Okay.
The one who are corrupt focus on his personal well-being.
Very good. Can I say, let's say the ruler, the king, has to ensure that the resources are distributed in the right manner. Let's say we decide that India's GDP is this much. Out of that, 2% or 3% should go to defense budget. Right or wrong? Right. But if rulers are corrupt, maybe they will not spend 2% or 3% on the defense. They'll spend it on unnecessary things. They'll spend it on themselves. When corruption is there, this will happen. If the ruler is not corrupt, he will spend it the way it should be spent, wherever it is necessary. Right or wrong? So when you don't spend enough on defense, what will happen? Your defense will become weak. When it becomes weak, it is very obvious you will lose. Logical? Yes? So this is how Plato also thinks. So Plato tries to understand this war, what has been happening in this war, how we lost the war, and now he is building his political theory on the basis of these things. He's trying to understand why there are problems in the world. He looks at the society in Athens and he says nobody is happy. People are not happy. So he tries to understand why people are not happy. How can they be happy? Because people should be happy. You're talking about politics, we are talking about people. People are part of politics, right? So how can they be happy? Apart from that, he looks at the problems of people and he says the reason behind the problems of people is the ruler. You have a bad ruler, because of which your lives are very bad. Right or wrong? Even one of the quote of Plato specifically, he says one thing, that when good people do not participate in politics, you have to be ready to be ruled by some bad people or some ignorant people. Let's say you are a high IQ person. You should actually get into politics. But if you are not into politics, you will be ruled by someone who is of a less intellect than you. And someone with less intellect than you will not perform really good as such. He will do bad job only because he is a person of less intellect. Getting it or not? So he builds his theory in such a manner. He says that the real problem behind all problems, this war, the life of people, everything is the king. We should have a better king. But the better king means what kind of king? Yes, what kind of king can make our lives better? He says a king who is really knowledgeable, who really understands all the things. If just imagine someone with less intellect, not so good with intellectually, he becomes the prime minister. Can you expect him to do really good job? The expectation itself is wrong. But if you make someone great, someone intellectually strong, let's say Einstein, you make Einstein the prime minister. I'm just giving example. You keep anyone who is of very high intellect. Will he not perform a better job than the other person? Right or wrong? That's what Plato wants. So his thought process is overall around this thing, how to bring a state which is perfect state, best state, which can do best governance, best justice, and we will not even lose wars and all. We will have everything perfect. And you people are also happy. Everything is so good. That's what Plato wants to know. Clear? Now see, when we study political thought of West, two thinkers are given highest importance in political science. One person is Plato, other person is Aristotle. Just now I said, Plato is called father of political philosophy, whereas Aristotle is called father of political science. Philosophy will be more normative in nature. They will think of what should be. Just now I told about Plato. Plato is telling what kind of ideal king should be. He's talking about those ideal things, what should be there. So it's more normative in nature, right? But Aristotle, when we will get into it, he will go for scientific stuff rather than just telling what should be. He tells, sir, things work like this. Don't tell us ideal things. This is how things work. That will be the approach of Aristotle. But if we see, our core thing is actually Aristotle. We have to study political science. And Aristotle is the main person for us. But we can't understand Aristotle without understanding Plato. Are you getting my point? Yes? So I'll say, if I have to study this person, I have to study his teacher, and his teacher is Plato. Is it making sense? But now one more thing. If I have to study Plato, I have to study his teacher also, and that person is okay. So when we study this ancient Greece, we have to study actually all three things together. We actually eventually want to understand Aristotle. But understanding Aristotle requires understanding of Socrates and Plato. Then only we will understand this person. As far as your syllabus is concerned, it mentions Plato and Aristotle both. It doesn't even mention Socrates. But I'm saying you can't understand Plato without knowing Socrates, because the thoughts are more or less the same. Clear? Yes. How important these two people are? Some people mention some statements like this person, Whitehead. He says, Western political thought is nothing but footnotes to Plato and Aristotle. That means entire Western political thought, everything what you study in West, it actually comes from Plato and Aristotle only. They are the main boss. From here only you understand political science of West completely. Okay. Now it's not like this guy might be liking these people, there might be some people who criticize them also. So we will have one person called Karl Popper. He doesn't like Plato. He's a very bad guy, sir. He wanted to become some dictator or something. He says when Plato talks about ideal king, Karl Popper says, maybe sir he wants to become king. That's why he's talking about ideal king. Okay. So there will be different people who will be criticizing also. There will be some people who will be liking them also. That's how we will understand all these thinkers. Clear? Now, to understand, let's go to ancient Greece area. And let's understand the background of ancient Greece to understand how the situation is over there. So where is it mentioned? Yes. Structure of ancient Greece. First, to understand Socrates and Plato, what is the situation in that society? We have to understand situation. Okay. Ancient Greece is a society which doesn't believe in equality. There is no equality. Okay, let's not judge, let's observe as it is. There is no equality. Even in India there was no equality. We had so much caste system, so many problems, patriarchy. So similar things you will observe here also. So what we see? First one, the society is divided between two classes. One is masters, one is slaves. Some people have very less rights, some people have more rights. These are called masters. They have all the rights, they can do whatever they want to. They can go join politics, they can do many things. Slaves, they are not free. They don't have enough rights. They have to listen to their masters. That's how the society is not having equality as such. Apart from that, there is patriarchy also. Patriarchy means males and females. Are they equal? No. Males are dominating, females are not. Rather to say, females are not even participating in politics. Females' job was somewhat assigned into the four walls. They have to take care of the kitchen. Whereas men were allowed to participate into politics and all these things. Getting it? So see, between men and men, there is no equality. And then men and women, there is no equality. Clear? Apart from that, these people are also called as ethnocentric. Ethno means ethnicity. Centric means their thought process always puts their ethnicity at the center. That means if I am Greek, I'll say the Greek people are better than any other people. Right? Many people think like this, that Indians are better than any other race. Britishers used to think the same way. Right? They used to think that Britishers are better, all of you people are barbarians. It's the same thought process even the Greek people have. They used to think that we Greek are better, civilized, and others who are not Greek, they all are barbarian and bad people. They're not civilized as such. We are better than them. This is ethnocentrism that we observe. Clear? Now you look at their economic model. Their economy was more or less dominated by agriculture. If you look at India also, in the ancient time, we were more or less agricultural economy. Right now we have this what we say in the GDP contribution, service sector is there, manufacturing sector is there, and agriculture also there. But before some time, or let's say in medieval and ancient time, even in India, agriculture was the main source of economy. So I'm saying even in ancient Greece, it's the same case. And in the agriculture, for the work, you have to make use of these slaves. So masters and slaves will be used for this physical work. Right? So this is how this economy is agrarian or agricultural economy or slave-based economy. Slaves are used to run this economy. Without slaves, agriculture becomes difficult because you need so many people to work in agriculture. That's a physical work. Right? So slaves are major part of the economic system. Clear? Now, look at the political conditions at the time of Plato. When I said that Plato wanted to come up with specific theory, he had that interest in politics, to join politics, But then he planned that I'll not join politics. I said one major reason is Athens lost the war with Sparta. And he was shocked. And he tried to understand the scenario. Right? There is one more thing that happened during his lifetime. That was also a big shock for him. That was the death of Socrates. And Socrates did not die naturally. Socrates was given poison by the government of Athens. That means the rulers gave him poison or they gave him death sentence. And this person, Plato, is shocked even by this incident because according to Plato, Socrates was the wisest person in the entire world. And at that point of time, we talked about the social system, economic system. If you ask me about the political system in ancient Greece right now means that time I'm talking about, there they have democracy. Which kind of democracy? Some form of direct democracy. The political system at that point of time in Greece, or specifically this Athens region, is a direct form of democracy. Now what happens in direct democracy? Referendum, okay.
The public takes the decisions or votes on certain laws that are being made.
Only some laws or all laws?
Laws.
Okay. What else? They elect the king, very good. Yes, what do you understand by direct democracy? Tell me the difference between direct and indirect democracy. Yes, online students can also answer.
Decisions on behalf of public.
Hmm.
Representatives take decisions or make laws on behalf of public.
Very good. For indirect democracy, representatives play the role. Okay.
And direct public themselves take decisions and make laws. Indirect.
Indirect democracy,
Not indirect.
direct democracy. Okay. People directly take the decisions. Okay. Right now I look at legislature, executive and judiciary. Tell me, will there be any difference? At least only in theory you tell me. In legislature, executive and judiciary, what will change in direct democracy and indirect democracy? Or if it is not a democracy?
In direct democracy, people are directly involved in decision making
Okay.
through tools like referendum, plebiscite, etc. But in indirect democracy, only the representatives can make decision on their own.
Okay. Let's say I simply talk about parliament. In indirect democracy, in parliament, the representatives of the people sit. Am I right or wrong? But in direct democracy, do the representatives sit or we sit?
There are representatives in direct democracy too, sir. They take few decisions
Okay.
and most of the large or major part of the decisions are taken by people, public.
Fine. You see, parliament is the body who makes laws, legislature. Yes? We say it's a democracy, that means people's rule. So, who should make law? People should make law. Right? Ideally, theoretically, in the parliament, who should sit? We all should sit. Because this is not possible, because the number of people are so many in one building, it's not possible, practical inconvenience is there, that's why we go for indirect model. Instead of we sitting there, we have sent our, am I right or wrong? Yes? Now the point is, this is about parliament. Can I think about judiciary also like this? What about judiciary? Huh?
There's a referendum to say whether it is fair.
Repeat.
There's a referendum to say who is guilty or who is not.
Let's say someone did a crime. We are just thinking theoretically, okay? We are not talking about practically what is the case in India. Theoretically, if this is our society, okay, when it comes to making a law, we all people are sitting and making law. Then when one person did some crime, should a judge give the judgment or we all people should decide? Democracy wise, tell me.
As a democracy, the public should judge, sir.
Right.
But
There are some problems. Okay, we understand that. But I'm just going by principle. By principle is the people who should make the judgment. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Now you understand in ancient time in Greece, actually this form of democracy exists. Okay, where people make the decision. When people brought a case against Socrates, yes, then it's not a judge who is reading constitution and making judgment, it's the people who are voting. And the people voted that kill Socrates. Am I making sense? It's a kind of direct democracy they had that point of time. With the time, in the modern times, we understand that democracy, when we talk about, we focus more on the parliament part. In executive or in not even executive, specifically judiciary, we don't put elected people. In judiciary, we have some expert people who are experts of law. We put them. Okay, but that can also be one form of democracy we can think of. Is it clear? We can have the democracy within the house also. Let's say 4 people live in a house. Yes, we can have democracy. They can make their own laws, legislature work. When execution of work is there, they will decide that for 1 week you will clean the house, for next week you will clean the house. Who is the executive? One week, one prime minister. And if someone made a mistake, all the people of the house will sit and give the judgment. Am I right or wrong? The principle is same. So the same direct democracy principle was being applied in that time of Greece, or specifically the Athens part. Clear? But the problem is, this person Socrates, he was given death sentence by the public. So who is right? Public is right or Socrates is right? Now try to understand. Public is having normal understanding, normal intellect. Socrates is a person of very high intellect. Can you have similarity in the person who is having low intellect and high intellect? No. They will be on opposite side many a times. Yes or no? Who are more in number? Less intellect people or high intellect people? Yes. And if the judgment is being made by low intellect people, they'll make the right decision or wrong decision? Wrong decision. And in democracy, these low intellect people, they make decisions. So that's why democracy is worst form of government, according to Plato. Getting it? Because in this good democracy, people like Socrates are killed. People who are intellectual are killed. Actually, people like Socrates should be made king. Instead of that, you are killing them. That's why his argument is that democracy is worst form of government. Getting it? His theories are building with the experiences he is getting. Okay? So these are the 2 important incidents in his life. One is the Athens losing the war, and second is death of Socrates. Clear? This line is quite famous about Plato. He says that, sir, first of all, democracy is bad. We should not have democracy. In democracy, what you do, your king or your ruler is elected person. Am I right? Our king is also elected. Our president or prime minister, they are also elected. Yes or no? But who elects? We people. And we people are low intellect people. Am I right or wrong? Yes? So we elect the wrong person. That's what he is saying. When we elect the wrong person, now think about it. When we elect the wrong person, that person will be corrupt person. Because he is a person of low intellect, how can you expect good things from him? You can't expect. So he will do wrong. He will take wrong decisions. He will be a corrupt person. And when he will be a corrupt person, you lose the war also. That's what we studied earlier. Am I right or wrong? Yes? So now he is making a conclusion that, sir, the problem is system of government we have. Democracy is bad. The king we are electing is bad. Remove this system and do one thing, sir. someone like Socrates who is a person of high intellect, who is expert, who is knowledgeable. Make such a person your king. When such a person will be king, now he is king on the basis of merit. Not king's son is becoming king, neither people electing king. You are not even electing. He is a person with high intellect. You are directly selecting him. And he should be the king. He is a philosopher. When a philosopher becomes king, you will have the best rule in your country. Yes? When you say philosopher, what do you understand by philosopher? Yes? Hmm?
The one who has ideas, principles.
Ideas, principles, okay.
Normative principles, right?
Normative,
Ideal-
obviously.
ideal.
Yes,
Who
ideal.
discusses-
Mhm.
Who discusses his thoughts and ideas with the rest of the people.
Okay.
Post-studied philosophy.
Huh? What is philosophy then?
Study of ideas.
Study of ideas. Mhm. Study of knowledge, very good. Are you people philosophers?
Not yet.
Think about it. Not yet. We study so much philosophy, after that we will also become philosophers. You see, when you say philosophy, first word is phila. Second word is Sophia. Phila means love. Sophia is knowledge. Is this robot also na with the name Sophia? Yes, that's the word. Sophia means knowledge. So philosophy means love for the knowledge. So who will be a philosopher? Who loves knowledge. A person who is in love with knowledge is a person who can be called as philosopher. Now why we are using this term? Because normally people don't have love for knowledge. What people have love for? People have love for
Instant gratification.
very good. Money, power, or can I say materialistic things. Yes, most of us are on this category. We want either money or power, and both are more or less same. If you have money, you have power. If you have power, you have money. It's the same combination. Most of the people, they are in love with this. They want to acquire more wealth, more material things. But a person who is in love with knowledge, do you think he will have that much interest in these things? He feels nice when he studies. He feels nice when he knows something new. He has so many questions. He wants answers for those questions. If he gets answers, he is happy. This material wealth is not giving him happiness. If I take example of, don't you think he had everything that you people want? Best example to take, he was having lot of money, lot of power, everything that he needs, everything was available. But the person seems not to be happy with this. Because he is also the same kind of person who is more interested in knowledge. He wants to know, who am I? Why am I here? Why this world is like this? What should happen? All the things. That's the interest a philosopher has. So for a philosopher, if you give him 1 crore rupees, will he be very happy? It doesn't matter to him. You give him 1 crore, you give him 1 rupees, it doesn't matter to him because that's not his area of interest. So will such a person be corrupt?
No, sir.
Not a chance. Because for corruption, it's very important that that person should be interested in these things. If that person is not at all interested in these things, no matter how much money you offer, he will not be interested in that. He wants something else. Such a person is philosopher. So now Plato says, if the real problem was the rulers being corrupt, let's remove those rulers and make a philosopher king. If a philosopher becomes king, now tell me, will you not have a good rule? Because this person will not be corrupt for sure. Yes?
Can we call Dr. Manmohan Singh as a person of high intellect?
Yes.
So
Yes, to some extent a kind of philosopher king.
We can say he had love for knowledge. He is
Yes.
very high intellect. Why couldn't he control corruption under his rules?
Because it was not under his complete control. He was in power with a coalition government. It was not like people elected Manmohan Singh as the head of the government. It's the Congress party who decided to make him the prime minister. People voted for party, not Manmohan Singh. And actually people will never vote for Manmohan Singh also. Because when we people take decision, we take wrong decision. Actually such people should be elected, na? But you see, such people will not even get 1,000 votes also. And some bad guys, they get 10 lakh, 5 lakh votes also. So that's the scene. Why he couldn't control corruption is because corruption is systemic. Second, his own party people are doing that. He can't remove them because he doesn't have that power. He was not politically powerful. Who was powerful? Congress party or the high command of Congress party, that is Sonia Gandhi, who seems to be powerful. So if that could be controlled by someone, it could be by her. Okay, one thing he certainly did, he maintained integrity. Nobody can question that. Even if you ask BJP guys, they criticize entire Congress, but they never talk anything about Manmohan Singh. The reason being, you should have something to talk about him. Na? The maximum thing they could say was, he was quiet person. That's not a criticism as such. Na? We have Prime Minister who speaks so much, and we have another Prime Minister who doesn't speak. That's not the real quality part. Na? That's just extroversion, introversion. Right? So yes, he showed that, and he seems to be that intellectual person. Yes, if I see all the Prime Ministers of India, it seems he is one of the most intellectual person who could reach to that stage. Yes, but the problem is how politics works. You can stay in power till the time you have political power. Yes, and the political power was with party. Right now it's with Modi ji. Modi ji has political power. He can do anything because political support is there. People are voting for him. Clear? Now, Plato's idea is, this is the core theory of Plato. Next few days we will be studying Plato in detail. Time and again we will come to only this one theory that is called as theory of philosopher king. This is the core theory of Plato. Till Plato, nobody had ever thought about this idea. This is for the first time we got this new idea. And it looks good? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes? So this is Plato's philosopher king. That's why he says, until philosophers are rulers, or rulers learn philosophy, either you make a philosopher king, or the king should learn philosophy. That means he will become philosopher. Till that time, there is no end to the predicament of human life. That means till that time, the problems and miseries of people will not go. Till the time someone philosopher becomes the king. Till the time bad people rule, there will be misery in our life. That's what he's trying to say. In the ancient time, and till present time, we never learned this thing from this guy. Yes? Okay. Now, he wrote two books. One book is called as The Republic, and second book is called as The Laws. This is the most important book, The Republic, because his idea of philosopher king, that is also mentioned in this book. By the time he reaches to second book, his ideas change a little bit. Now this happens with most of us. When we are young, our thoughts are different. By the time we become mature, our thoughts become different. Right or wrong? Rather, can I say, we are more idealist when we are young. And by the time we become old or mature, we become little practical. Yes or no? Even you people might be having many idealist thoughts right now. Sir, world should be like this. Sir, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But look at your parents. They are like, arey, aisa hi hota hai. This is how world works. Right? So this is the transition most of us go through. Even Plato has gone through the same transition. When he was young, at that point of time, he wrote this book called Republic. And when he was young, that time he talked about those ideal things, like philosopher king. It's a very ideal idea. He is trying to do one thing. Whatever state we have, he's trying to make it an ideal or perfect state. How can we have perfect state, ideal state, perfect justice, everything best, people's life, everyone is happy. Everyone will be happy when there will be philosopher who becomes a king. That's the ideal thing he is thinking about. Imaginative, speculative. That is happening when he is young, and that he has mentioned in this book. Okay? But by the time he becomes mature and he writes this another book called The Laws, here his views change a little bit. Now, instead of preferring a philosopher king, now he says, sir, there should be rule of law. Now, what is rule of law? There can be rule of philosopher king, and he is later on saying there should be rule of law. What do you understand by rule of law? Tell me. You heard this term, basic polity.
Must be fair, just and reasonable. The law,
Mhm.
The king should be not above the law. It should be.
Very good. That's a good argument. Is there rule of law in India? Yes, you read about Article 14, 15. There also the people talk about rule of law so many times. Constitutionalism, right? Try to understand. The rule can be of any. For example, there can be rule of one person. Is it possible that only one person rules? Yes, you can have a king, you can have a dictator, you can have someone who is a strong person, and that strong person controls everything. In your home, maybe there is rule of one person. So this dictatorship you are living in, not democracy for sure. Yes? Then there can be rule of few people. Few means, let's say we have 140 crores. So there are 50 people who are ruling us. Is it possible? Yes, our council of ministers, if we check, there are just 40, 50 people, 100 people, not more than that. So few people can also rule. It is also possible. Or if you check, in the ancient time, there were some republics, or there were some areas where multiple rulers, together they used to rule a territory. 2, 3 kings together. Yes, if you read about the history, ancient history part, you will come to know about this idea. Then this can also be there. Rule of all the people. We all the people, we decide everything. Direct democracy. Is it possible? Who will make law? We will make law. Yes? This is rule of all the people. This is nothing but democracy, can I say? Theoretically, at least, in theory, this is democracy. Although right now we are somewhat going for this, and this also we call democracy, theoretically. Yes? Now I am saying there can be rule of law. Law means the basic rules which can be written in a book, let's say. So now we will not have rule of any one person or rule of you people. No. There will be rule of this book. Now what's the difference? When you say rule of all the people, actually what happens is, if there are 100 people, you just need 51 people to support an idea, and that will be executed. So one of the major flaw of democracy is, it is majoritarian in nature. If you get just one number extra and you are done, your decision will be implemented, right or wrong. But if someone is getting 51 majority, that does not mean 49 people are wrong or their idea is wrong. Yes, look at what happened in case of Britain. Britain came out of European Union. We call it as Brexit. If you read about Brexit, you will come to know, just because of slight votes, the Brexit decision was from this to this. Earlier they were like, we will stay with European Union. And suddenly, just 1 or 2 votes here, and suddenly people said, we will go with Brexit. The Prime Minister of that country at that point of time was shocked to see the results. And then he resigned also. Getting it? That's a problem with democracy. Clear? Now, rule of law is something even a better form of democracy, wherein we will follow this book. You call it as constitution? This is the basic law in India which we call as Constitution of India. We are saying the law will be everything. What will happen is only according to the law book. Who made the law book? Obviously we made. But when we say we made, we all the 100 people made the law. Not the 51 people. Constitution is not a document made by just 51 people. It's made by all the 100 people. And now we are saying there will be rule of this book which is written by every one of us. Right or wrong? And this book is above everyone. When this book is above everyone, even the king is not above the book. Book is above the king. So if Modi ji is the most powerful person in the country, is he above the Constitution of India? No. Is Supreme Court above the Constitution of India? No. Nobody is above Constitution of India. Constitution is above everything. So that's where we are saying in India we are also trying to bring rule of law. Right now Modi ji is majority. Modi ji represents this right now. 51% population at least. But we are saying even this 51% cannot go against the book. So even if Modi ji wants to remove some words from Constitution, can he remove? If those words are part of basic structure of Constitution. No. Is it making sense? There is debate going on to remove some words like secularism, socialism from the book. Yes, newspaper you people read, these people talk about such things. Make sense? Yes, this is rule of law. Any doubt till now? So in this second book, by the time he writes this second book and he's a mature person now he becomes practical. He's not so much idealist now. So he says, sir, philosopher king might not be possible. Let's go for rule of law. Because philosopher king can also be a dangerous idea. Let's say you made someone philosopher king and let's say he did something wrong. Because you are not having democracy also now. Philosopher king means now the king is ultimate. He can do anything. That can be a dangerous idea. Clear? These are the two ideas he has given in two different books. For us, still the most important thing is the republic and the idea of philosopher king, because that's a very unique and what we say very interesting idea. Anyone would like that idea. When they listen to this idea, they feel like what a great thought he has. Okay, so people say Plato is very charming personality. Whatever he speaks, people start loving this person. And Plato is a sharp politician. He wants you to like him and one day make him the philosopher king. That's what some people will criticize him. Okay, whether the criticism is valid or not, we don't know. People criticize.
Sir, Plato contradicted his own quote, like,
Mm-hmm.
the person of 5 units, if he doesn't enter into politics, is bound to be ruled by him.
Yes.
But he chose to become a philosopher.
But after choosing philosophy only, he understood that okay, this is the reason, this is what it should be. That's what he came to know. He was not like earlier, he already knew that thing. Yes, any other doubt till now? Write down this part. Right, give the heading Plato. We'll just write the most important things now, because anyway the notes, these notes, this will include everything. If you check initial 2-3 pages, that will be mentioning about the introduction that we discussed. Then it starts with Western political thought, just the basic part, and it starts with the Plato. Okay, so everything that we are discussing, it will be there in this. Okay. Now, write down Plato. Plato belongs to the ancient Greece. Plato belongs to ancient Greece, specifically the city-state Athens. Specifically the city-state Athens. His major works include: number 1, the Republic. Number 1, the Republic. In this, write down, this is the work of young Plato. This is the work of young Plato. Where he discusses where he discusses the idea of philosopher king. The idea of philosopher king. Many people criticize this idea. Many people criticize this idea as utopian or impractical. Utopian, UTOPIAN. Utopian or impractical. Utopian means something very idealistic, so idealistic that in reality it is not possible. That is utopian. Okay, right? Second book, The Laws. The Laws. This is the work of mature Plato. This is the work of mature Plato, in which his second best state after philosopher king, second best state after philosopher king is state having rule of law. State having rule of law. This idea seems relatively more realistic. This idea seems relatively more realistic. Right, next line, next heading. Two events important in the life of Plato. Number one, defeat of Athens in Peloponnesian War. In Peloponnesian War. And number two, death of Socrates. Death of Socrates through democracy. Through democracy. Right, next line. Plato described democracy as the rule of ignorant. The rule of ignorant. In bracket, worst form of government. Worst form of government. In his words, unless, write in the quotes, unless philosophers are the rulers, or the rulers learn philosophy, or the rulers learn philosophy. There is no end, there is no end to the predicament of human life. Of human life. Now see, we have to study so many theories given by Plato. His main theory is theory of philosopher king. But to understand his theory of philosopher king, we have to study multiple different theories. Because his core theory comes from so many different theories. Okay, which includes his theory of ideas, theory of soul, theory of justice, education, communism, ideal state. In this ideal state, he talks about philosopher king, all these things. To understand this, we have to first understand his methods. What is the method Plato is using to understand things? Now, this is where things get way more philosophical. Okay, we will discuss that, but you don't need to remember all of that. If you just broadly understand what I am trying to say. Let's say I am saying something for 30 minutes, and if you can grab only 2 minutes out of it, your job is done. Because I know it's very hectic and very heavy as a philosophy. Okay, so just have some patience when we will be discussing this part. Okay, core thing you have to remember ultimately is that why he wants philosopher king. Okay, and how to make that philosopher king also. He builds an entire process also. What education to be given, how to take exam, should he have wife or not, because if he will have wife, then he will also do corruption. So all those things he talks about. That's where we'll get into all these theories. So every discussion is just to understand Plato as much as possible. Okay, the depth that I'll be going for, you don't need that much for exam. Okay, this one will work for you, but still I'll go to this extent so that understanding builds. Clear? Structure part we discussed. Now see, when we look at Western civilization and Eastern civilization, there is a minute difference or specific difference that we observe. Our civilization, which is part of East, in East, we have done good developments in the field of spiritualism. When you read even the ancient philosophy of India, we will have this philosophical thoughts of India, in that we will study about Buddhism, we'll study about Chanakya, we'll study about so many people, and you will observe one thing, that we are so much spiritualistic in nature. And spiritual developments happened more in case of India and the eastern part of the world. But if we go to Western civilization, they developed more, not in spiritual part, but in material form. In the material sphere, they have done more development. Now try to understand the difference between spiritual and material, because that's the core debate of philosophy also. Matter and idea, or let's say, this body is me, or the soul inside, that soul is me. You people understand the word soul? Yes? Instead of soul, instead of body, can I use the word matter? And instead of soul, can I use the word spirit? Yes? From matter, the word material is coming into picture. From the word soul, the spirit, and from here, spiritualism is coming into picture. Right? Now we have both matter as well as soul. Do you try to make your body happy or soul happy? From there also you can understand these words. For example, when I eat something tasty, I am making my body happy. When I have this AC instead of a normal fan, I have convenience for my body. my body becomes happy. So it is material thing. This is a material thing, this pen is material, this is material, everything is matter. All of this is made up of matter. You must have studied about matter in science. Anything that occupies some space, has some mass, that becomes matter. So this is made up of matter. Matter in the minute size is matter, and then it becomes the bigger thing. Our body is also made up of matter, and anything that we have, we are consuming, that is also made up of matter. So all these things are material things. All these things are material things. But when I listen to a song, my soul becomes happy. I feel really good. Now this is not my body now. There I am entering into soul. When I think about idea of justice, my body is not becoming happy. It's my soul, my spirit, which is becoming little happy. And this is the area of spiritualism. So I'm saying Western civilization focused more on materialism. They developed, whatever theories they developed or studied, they developed more on this side. Whereas Indian civilization or Eastern civilization, we focused more on spiritualism, and we developed so much. So you see, meditation, different practices, all these Upanishad and all those things, they are more focused on spiritualism, not materialism. In India, materialism is considered very bad. Yes, acquiring things and all is considered very bad thing. Right or wrong? We rather care about dharma and so many things. But that's not the case in West. Who is right? We don't need to get into who is right and wrong. They developed in one sphere because our life is made up of both. Material life is also there and spirit part is also there. So they developed in this area, we developed in this area. Is this clear? Now, when you say the Western civilization developed in the material sphere, what is that specific thing on which they focused on? So we have some words like rationalism, humanism, these are the things they focused on. So let's try to understand their thought process. When we go to West, entire Western civilization, in that we will go to Greece and we will try to understand the Greek thought process. So what are these people believing in? What do they believe in reality? They believe in number one, rationalism. Rationalism. The word rationalism means I'm a rational person. I believe that I'm a rational person. I believe every human being is a rational person. Rational means what? Rational means every person has a capability to reason. Capability to reason. Reason means what? Reason means think logically. Think in a logical manner. Let's say you say, sir, this pen is the best pen in the world. I'll say, okay, why do you think it's the best pen? I'll ask the question. You'll say, sir, it looks good, it is like this, it is like this. Okay, but when I take it into space, it's not working, sir. It's not working on this paper also, sir. It's just working on this. How come it is best? I'm asking some logical questions. Right or wrong? See, if I have some questions, I can get answers in different forms. How I can get answers? One is, I can just believe. I can just believe in something, that there must be a God who will bring another pen for me. That's a belief. Okay, but when I think rationally, sir, only this pen we have. Other pen if I want, nobody's coming, sir. I'll have to go buy from the market. Logically, I'm thinking. If I got a disease, if I have to rationally think, I'll think why this must have happened. What if I apply, what will happen to this? This is logical thinking. Clear? Now I am saying the Greek people at that point of time, they were rationalist people. So they believed that we all have reasoning ability. Every human being is having this reasoning ability. We all can think. We have the capability to think in a logical manner. So for any problem, we can go for reasoning. It's not like someone will tell us that this is written in book and you have to follow the book. No, these people will not accept it. They will use the reasoning method to find the solutions for their problems. Is it clear? This is called rationalism. Using reason over your religion or any other thing, any belief for your life. Specifically, we are talking about politics. So in politics, what to do, what not to do, if you are facing some problems, let's say in India, many people do this thing that if there is no rainfall happening. So some people do some worshipping, some puja and all, they think that if we do this, the God will be happy and there will be rainfall. Is this rational? No, this is not rational. This is based on faith. Don't judge right or wrong. Again I am saying, just see, this is faith. In faith, when you talk about religion, you have faith. You feel for that religion. It's the feeling part, not the thinking part. In religion, you don't think, you just feel. And you accept whatever is being told. But a rational person will not accept any belief or any thought. He will question, he will think. By thinking, he will come to conclusion that, sir, this year El Nino is happening, or this year some problem happening, climate change happening. Something he will come to conclusion. I'm not saying specifically he'll come to the conclusion which science is telling, but some conclusion he will lead to through the rational process. Clear? Even scientists are using rational process. And philosophers also use rational process. When a philosopher thinks the way Plato thought, that, sir, why we lost? Corruption. Why we lost? Because our army is weak. Why our army is weak? Because the infrastructure and the money they needed, they never got. Why they did not get money? Because the ruler did not give them money. Why ruler did not give them money? Because ruler kept lot of money with himself, because he is a corrupt person. Why he is corrupt person? Because he is a crazy person, sir, low intellect person. Then why he is ruler? Because we have democracy, sir. Do you think that he is logically thinking and reaching to a conclusion? That's the rational process. Getting it? Do you think a person believing in religion will do this? No, he'll not do that. A rational person will do this thing. Clear? So this is called rationalism, and I am saying Greek people are rationalist people. Is this clear? Yes? Second, Greek people are secular also. Now tell me, what do you understand by the word secular? Separation of state and religion. What do you understand by that?
Equally respecting every religion.
Equally respecting every religion. Okay. That's Indian concept. What else? State?
Not having any official religion.
State is not having any official religion. Very good. We say, sir, religion is part of my personal or private life. And state is a part of our collective or public life. Can I say this? Yes or no? Yes. So if this is just my personal relationship and this is my public relationship, then we can mix it also and we can keep it separate also. If I go further, now see, this is a different relationship. I pay the tax, I obey your rules, you provide me some service. You provide some service, I'll pay you tax, and whatever laws you are making, I'll obey all of that law. That's my different relationship. Yes or no? This relationship is a different relationship. This is my relationship with my God. God tells me to do few things, I do that. My God is also happy, I am also happy. That's my personal relationship. Right or wrong? But now what about this relationship? Okay, if these two people come together and become one, okay, if they marry each other, then you're not a secular state. Then you are called as theocratic. Very good. We call it as a theocratic state. Best example is, let's say, Iran is a good example of theocratic state. Yes or no? Or any state where you see official state religion. What is happening is, the state is supposed to do our public works, make the road, bring some education policy, defense policy, all that work. Religion, affairs with God, that stuff, rituals and all, they should do that. But when you mix both of them, Religion is telling state what to do. When you mix, religion will tell what kind of education to be given. Religion is telling whether to go with war with Pakistan or not, which religion should not do, but they can do that. And we have seen many a times, there are many countries where government is formed and that government, that state and religion is mixed up. Am I right? Yes, if it is mixed, we use the word theocratic state. Am I right? If they hate each other, let's say the state hates the religion, they dislike religion, they want to destroy religion, then it is atheistic. Let's say countries like China, based on the communist ideology, who does not believe in religion, who hate religion. Yes. And the third category, who maintains some distance, who just wants to maintain some distance. It does not hate religion, just you stay separate. In my area I'll do whatever I want to, in your area you do whatever you want to. When they want to maintain this separation, that is called secular state. Is it clear? Does that mean in a secular state people will not be religious? People can be religious now. People can be religious, but they will not mix religion into the state. When they are taking state activities, when they are making roads, when they are going for war and all, they will not talk about religion. State political activities are different and religious activities are different, and they don't mix it. Okay, when I am doing a ritual in my home for a god, state will shut its mouth, and when I am making a road, religion will shut its mouth. That's the simple idea of secularism. Now I am saying this Greek society, the people over here are secular also. Are they religious? Yes, they believe in religion also. They have their gods also. But they are secular, means their political life, whatever they have, in that they don't bring religion. And why don't they bring religion? Because they are rationalist. Are you getting the point? These two stay together, we understand. Third, these people are humanist. What do you understand by humanism? Very good, human beings are the center, but what do we mean by that? Is it same as humanitarianism? We send humanitarian aid to some countries. Huh? Very good, very good. These two words, humanitarian and humanist, these two are different words. We are saying Greek people are humanist. I did not say this word. Humanitarian means you show humanity, you try to do something good for people. That is called philanthropy or charity also. So when you give some help, that is also humanitarian aid that you are giving. I am not talking about this word. I am talking about humanism. Humanism means it looks at the world by putting humans at the center. Normally what people do, they put God at the center and then they look at the entire world. Whatever they think, they will put God at the center and then they will think about everything. Who made the universe? God made the universe. So from God, there whatever remaining thought processes, that starts. A humanist person, his thought process does not start with God. In his thought process, humans are at the center. His thought process starts by looking at human beings. So how to make human life better? That person will always have some values, like humans should have freedom, humans have dignity, all these things will be there. Humans will be more important for that person, not God. For some people, God is more important even than humans. For the sake of God, they will kill humans also. But a human-centered person, he will give importance to human beings. Is this clear? So these are the three qualities or thoughts of ancient Greek people we observe. Clear? So write down. Characteristics of Greek thought. Characteristics of Greek thought. Number one, rationalism. Rationalism It means using reason and logic to understand truth instead of blindly following any belief. Number 2, secularism. Number 2, secularism. It means keeping religion separate from political affairs. In bracket state. Number 3, humanism. It keeps human beings and their well-being at the center. In bracket, rather than God at the center.
Compared only with God or let's say nature.
You call it supernatural authority, you call it nature, you call it anything.
Other organisms.
It could be anything. Mostly we use the word God.
And the elaboration that you
Huh?
some elaboration about
For example, when you say that the nature is more important, overall universe is more important, humans are not that important. That's a different thought process. But when you say humans are important, automatically your thought process will be, sir, human freedom, human dignity, human life, that is important. So when you look at human rights, those human rights don't give importance to God or nature as such. They give importance to human existence. A humanist person will always give importance to the life of a human being rather than life of God. In the name of God, you are ready to sacrifice human beings. Let's say for the sake of God, you are having some rituals in which you say that human life is not that important, your freedom is not that important, God is more important. Now we are saying no sir, a humanist person will always give importance to human life. So I should have fundamental rights. Even if God likes it or God doesn't like it, I don't care. Human right matters, my creativity matters, my dignity matters. Basic fundamental rights. Basically understand whatever fundamental rights we read, they are coming from humanist thought process. Okay?
Does humanists say that the reason for everything or everything to be like this is humanists?
Repeat.
Like, does humanists say
Hmm?
the reason for everything or for any cause or any process to be implemented, if the reason is human beings, is this it?
No, they are not getting into this area. They are just saying that our thought process starts from humans. Because I was born alone, I did not see God, so I will start thinking about me. Simple. Otherwise, most of the people, they start from the God first. God created us. God told us to be honest. God told us to live like this. The process is starting with God. Here I am saying no sir, process will start with me. Even you say I should do all the good things, I should be a moral person. What others will say? Because God created us and God wants all of us to be moral people, good people. That's why you should be good. A humanist will not accept it. He will say, sir, not because God said, but because I understand we all humans stay together. If I have to be happy, I don't need to have any conflict with you. And conflicts will not happen if I am also ethical, you are also ethical. So you see, both are becoming ethical, but the thought process is here starting through God, and here it is starting from human being. Clear? This is humanist. Just basic, even if you just know these words, that's more than enough. Okay? How much time we have? Done. Huh? We mentioned 3 hours, but roughly it will be 2.5, not more than that mostly. Now, we will understand one important thing. When we get any questions, the fundamental questions that we will have, for that when we need answers, we can look for different streams. Let's say you have some questions, who I am, why I am born, how am I born, how these things work, what is this universe, how is earth made, how is sun made. You have so many existential or basic questions, right? Now to get answers for my basic questions, which I say as finding the truth, I am trying to find the truth. For that I can look for different streams. One of the stream is I have religion. The best thing about religion is they have answer for everything. You ask any question, they already have the answer. You like the answer or you don't like the answer, they are not getting into that area. They are giving you the answer. Who created you? God created you. How God created you? They know the exact process. Every religion will tell you different process, but they know the process. That God worked from Monday till Friday, He created all these things, Saturday He created this, Sunday this. They have the long process. Why God created? They'll tell you the purpose also. You are supposed to do this. Right? What will happen if I die? After you die, you go to the Swarg or Nark or something. They have everything. They have answers for your questions. Now, you have to believe in those answers. Can you question? No, you can't question. You have to believe. So, religion is based on faith. Are we giving evidence for that? Is any religious entity giving you evidence for whatever they are saying? No, they are not giving evidence. They are saying either believe or don't believe. Right or wrong? So, it's purely based on faith. And for faith, you have to feel. You can't think. Thinking has to be stopped and feeling has to be started. So for God, you feel with emotions. And whatever they say that this is how things work, you just believe in it. Clear? This is religion giving us answers for our questions. Apart from religion, we have philosophy also and science also giving us answers. How science works? Science works on purely on empirical method. Pure empirical. Science will not accept anything without evidence. They'll say, sir, God made like this, show me. Give me documented evidence, show me somewhere. Unless you show, they will not accept. The moment you show, they will accept it. Am I right? Yes? Try to understand, both are giving us answers. Their method is different. Here, faith is involved. And here, evidence. Evidence which I can see or observe or through my senses. I have senses, eyes, ear, whatever senses I have. Through the senses, I can verify. Whatever you are saying, I can verify that. Right? That's empirical method. Clearly based on observation, fact, evidences. Clear? Now I am saying, very similar to this is also your philosophy. Philosophy is not going for the method of religion based on faith. No, they are not going for faith. So completely philosophy is opposite of religion. It is rather similar to science. Science, similar to science because it is also going for thinking. Science also thinks. Philosophy also thinks. Religion is not thinking, it's just feeling. But in thinking also, science asks for evidence. For everything they want evidence. Give me observable thing. Philosophy does not go for observable thing every time. It is more about speculation. I will use my mind, logically think and reach to the conclusion. The way Plato reached to a conclusion. Did he have any logical evidence to give? That rulers are corrupt and that's why war is happening and all? No, he doesn't have evidence to give you. That's why whatever he said is not scientific fact. but it's a philosophy. So philosophy will use the method of logic or reasoning, or what we call as rational process. Is it making sense?
So can we say this scientists are empirical thinkers, empiricists?
Yes, you use that's what I use now here. They go for empirical method to come to conclusion. These people just use reasoning. They are also using reasoning. They are also using logical mind now. But even their logical mind said there must be gravity. Did the person accept? No. He thought there must be something like gravity which must be pulling it. But then he did experiments, he observed. When observation told the same thing, then only he accepted. So first he also used reasoning, same scientist. But final conclusion he reached only after evidence. So their method is empirical. You can call them empirical thinkers. Clear? But these people do not necessarily have evidence for what they are arguing. That does not mean they are wrong. See, if you don't have evidence for something, that does not mean whatever you are saying is 100% wrong. That's philosophy. Clear? All of these are giving us answers for the same questions. Science also describes you. The earth is made like this, sun came like this, all these answers. Philosophy will also give you answers. Clear?
All philosophers are rationalists.
Yes, all philosophers are going, the method they use is rationalism. Without rationalism, philosophy is not even possible. Clear? That's why whenever you read any philosopher, it looks like whatever he is telling is true. Every philosopher. Now, whatever Plato said, exactly opposite Aristotle will say, and then you will feel, sir, Aristotle is right. Then we will study Karl Marx, you will feel Karl Marx is exactly opposite of Plato. You will feel Karl Marx is 100% right. Because whatever arguments they are giving, those seem to be very good. They make logical sense to us. Because they also thought in a logical manner and reached to a conclusion. Getting it? Write down. Write down the word philosophy first. Philosophy. What is philosophy? Philosophy is love for knowledge. Philosophy is love for knowledge. It studies ideas. It studies ideas and tries to know the truth. It studies ideas and tries to know the truth. Next heading. There are 3 ways of knowing the truth. Number 1, philosophy. Philosophy. In this, write down using reason. Using reason. Number 2, religion. Using faith. And number 3, science. Using empirical evidences. Clear? Our subject is actually mix up of philosophy and science. Okay, in philosophy some scientific methods we use and try to derive our understanding. Clear? And sometimes these 3 things mix up also. Yes, like philosophy and religion is mixed up. In India, if you see Buddhism is a philosophy or Buddhism is religion. It's difficult to tell, both. Hinduism, same. Jainism, same. Right? So things mix up sometimes. Clear? And if someone wants to really understand the world, if you really want to become some philosopher who really wants to know the truth, you can't just read one. You have to read all 3. Philosophy also, science also, religion also. then only you will really develop understanding. Clear? Good? Chalo, thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow. Mostly we'll have classes 2 hours or 2.5 hours, not more than that. Okay. If the need be, if I feel that maybe we need to extend the number of hours, so maybe 3 hours we can go for. Okay. Initially though I'll keep it slow only, because I want you people to go little slow initially, till the time you become comfortable with the subject. Okay. Once you become comfortable, these words become normal for you, normative and all, empirical, this you will speak like this now. So after that we'll go little faster, maybe duration can be increased to some extent. Mm-hmm. No, rationalism, empiricism. See, rationalism, when I say I'm using reasoning, okay, that means I will think. If you simply understand, I'll think. But by thinking, if I get a conclusion, will I accept it or not? By thinking, let's say tomorrow you did not come to class. So I can use reason and try to think what could be the reason. So I thought 4 options. Maybe some accident happened, maybe his father did not allow, maybe he was with his girlfriend, something I thought. 2, 3 I got, reasoning. And after thinking about all the options, I came to conclusion, guaranteed he is ill today. That's why he did not come. Okay. But this is rationalist process through which I reach to conclusion. There can be other way that I will check the evidence, CCTV camera, or I ask your friend where he is right now. There I took the empirical evidence. Getting it? So the same person who is going for empirical also, he can still be a rationalist person also at the same time. But his final conclusion is based on rational process or is based on empirical evidence. That's where we make difference. Scientists are rationalist as well as empirical. Clear? Done? Chalo, tada, bye bye. We'll meet tomorrow. So we'll have class, what's the day tomorrow? Friday? Okay. I'll see if possible we'll take class on Saturday also this week, because there's a high chance on Monday I'll not be available. There is a chance. Okay. So we'll see. We'll confirm you. Yes, online students, we will make the notes available.